for me, I want to start with Jacob DeGrom and this scapula injury, and to let everybody know out there that, I believe I had this injury. I believe any quarterback who played during my era or before my era when we had full two-a-days where we would throw in the morning and we would throw in the afternoon, and we'd end up doing that 10 days straight, take a day off, and then have another 10 days straight of 2 days, can completely understand exactly this kind of injury. So
stress reaction.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is that the bone underneath the shoulder blade becomes inflamed. And the only way that you can take care of this particular injury is rest. And it has to be rest for a pitcher of this magnitude, has to be at least 4 weeks. And then he comes back stronger than ever. The bone will be fine and everything else will be fine. But then he'll have to ramp himself back up. And hopefully we get somewhere between 20 and 25 starts out of this guy, maybe closer to 20 as opposed to 25, which is really disappointing. And when I heard about it, I was just hoping that it wasn't, I think we talked about it on Friday, that it wasn't going to require surgery. And so if I go over to you.
You're going to come over to me.
I'm going to come over to you.
All right.
And I'm going to, here's your right arm. Right?
Yeah, yep, you're right in there. My right arm.
Right here?
Yep.
Have you ever had a knot inside your right shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, I've had knots in my back.
You've had knots, yeah, but not right there.
Never had a knot right there. No, Boomer.
Not right there. Right inside the shoulder.
But it's amazing when you hit that part of my back, it hurts up in my shoulder.
Right, exactly.
Like on the other side of my arm.
So for those of us who played quarterback in the NFL, we didn't have MRIs back in the dark ages.
Yeah, you just went out there, you threw some dirt on it, you took some Robitussin, and you went out there and you played.
We did have, we had ice and we had stim and we had all that kind of stuff, and that's basically how they treated it. And then you still went out there and you threw. You maybe didn't throw as much, and maybe they gave you a couple days here or there.
Yeah.
But again, we weren't throwing the ball 95 miles an hour. We weren't throwing sliders. We weren't throwing curveballs. But, in morning practices with the dew on the ball, there would be heavier balls that we'd end up throwing.
Okay.
And every quarterback that's ever played in high school or in college or even in the pros knows exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, I'm going to say a disclaimer right now so everybody knows. If you are picking up your phone right now and dialing the radio station because you had shoulder surgery at some point, or you had shoulder fatigue at some point in your life when you played high school or college baseball, put the phone down and just enjoy the program,
right,
please.
So I'm just telling you from my own perspective that when I heard it wasn't surgery required. I was happy to hear about that. Now I think this is like the 6th or 7th injury he's had, and it's obviously a reoccurring thing with him. There's always something. I heard Brandon Tierney on Friday talking about pitching through it and everything. I'm like, dude, you can't just pitch through it, and especially when you're a guy that is as valuable as Jacob DeGrom.
Well, I think I feel like I have to defend him. I think that was before
he knew what was happening.
Results came.
But that's why you can't say things.
His premise was based on if the MRI came back clean, I think, which it did not.
It did not. It came back and it shows inflammation and it shows stress on the bone and where the ligament meets the bone and all that other stuff.
I was actually happy we had an answer. Remember on Friday I told you I was looking for an answer, one thing or another.
And we would get it. And like I said, the good part of this, it does not involve surgery. It does not involve his labrum. It does not involve anything, structurally inside, that joint in there, which is the thing that you really want to stay away from, because that is like just an elongated therapy, and it takes forever, especially when you go down the surgery lane. But
I read this is rare for Major League Baseball pitchers.
It's not as rare as you think. I talked to a friend of mine who is an orthopedic surgeon and asked him to really explain it to me, just so I understood when we came in here this morning, that I could accurately reflect exactly what he's dealing with. And I asked that. I said, could I have had something like that back, in the 80s and the 90s when during two-a-days, because it sounds very similar to something I may have dealt with numerous times in my career, just simply because two-a-days were totally different than what they are now. And he said, yeah, you probably did have it, and you didn't know about it simply because we didn't have MRIs back in those days. The MRI is what really shows exactly what's going on, and that's why they're always running for the MRI tube.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I when I heard it wasn't surgery required, I felt a lot better about it. And then when I started to realize that I probably had something similar to this, and quarterbacks go through dead arm as well through the summer, I was saying to myself, you know what? I feel a lot better about his ability that he will be able to come back this year. It may not be until May. And maybe that's a blessing in disguise.
I mean, if you're telling me that there's a chance that he could be stronger when the playoffs come around, if the Mets are lucky enough to be there, then sure, that sounds great. I actually really liked Francisco Lindor's answer. I mean, after he gave all the credit and respect to Jacob DeGrom, he goes, well, first of all, it's once every 5 days that he pitches. And then also, how many games did we lose last year 1-0 when we couldn't score for him? So we got to go out there. We got to do our job. We got to carry the team. And when he comes back, hopefully we'll be better for it.
Yeah, so I guess Francisco Lindor, I don't know, must have studied something in the offseason of what to say and how to say it.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was very comforting to hear him say
He's my first client, the Greg Giannotti. This is what you say if you're an athlete in New York school.
Yes.
He's my first client. He's been listening, and he knows exactly what to say now. Took him a year.
Yes.
And he signed up. I reached out to him. I sent him some stuff in the mail. I said, listen, if you need a course in what to say, come here. No, it seems pretty good. I mean, everything from him has been great this spring.
Yeah, well, and then, of course, you have the Max Scherzer, and you have the potential hamstring issue, and whether or not he'll be ready to go this first series down in Washington.
It sounds like a minor thing.
Which would be disappointing that he didn't get if he doesn't get to pitch against his former team. It would be fun to see that. But look, man, they have got to stay relevant without Jacob DeGrom. That's all there is to it. And, and they're in the mix in all these different trades.
What'd you think of that Padres one that popped up? If anybody missed it over the weekend, it was Eric Hosmer and the rest of his contract, which was over $50 million. It was Chris Paddock, who Met fans may remember from when him and Pete Alonso were battling for NL Rookie of the Month honors early on in their couple of years ago. And Chris Paddock was pissed off that Pete Alonso got it and he didn't get it. And Chris Paddock, who has not been very, very good at all the last couple of years, and a reliever, and paying a significant amount of Eric Hosmer's contract for Dom Smith. That was the deal that the Padres and Mets were talking about.
Well, two things I know about is that Steve Cohen's not going to be swayed by money the way the Yankees will be swayed by money right now. He is going to be willing to spend, and he will try to fix this, and they will continue to look to see if they can find guys. Look, I happen to be one of these guys that are a Dom Smith fan. I also know that there are a lot of older guys on this team, and there is a place for Dom Smith. There's a place in left field to give Canna a blow. There's a place at first base to give Pete Alonso a blow, and then there's also, there's the DH where you can mix and match with Robbie Cano and him. So I just think that you need young players. You need players that are going to be available. You can't keep going down this road with 34 to 38-year-olds and expect that they're not going to miss a significant amount of time during the season. So I was a little happy that they didn't make that trade.
That did not go over well with Mets fans, at least the social media reaction that I saw. Every single person was saying, no, this is not something that you want to do. Why are you going to take Hosmer on and that money when he's washed up? And if you look at Chris Paddock the last couple of years, he's had ERAs that are well above league average. You just don't do it. Don't give up Dom. You're going to need Dom. So I wouldn't have been surprised if Steve Cohen, because he's so active on Twitter, actually saw some of that reaction from Mets fans on Twitter and took that into account. I know that sounds crazy, but in 2022, it's not crazy when you've got an owner as active as he is on Twitter.
The good news is that, at least from most of our standpoints, we didn't make that deal. That doesn't mean that they aren't making other deals, or they're not talking to the Reds or the Oakland A's, who seem like they're having a fire sale every weekend now.
How about Sean Manaea, who goes from one team to another and then is pitching against his old team in spring training 5 hours after he gets traded?
Yeah, I mean,
this is crazy. Yeah.
These are things that are happening now, and I know that. Look, Steve Cohen will do everything he possibly can financially. Just don't do the stupid thing, and that's just add a guy just because you want to add a guy. Or
would have been a panic trade.
I don't know if a panic trade.
It would have been a panic. It was after the DeGrom news. They would have made a panic trade.
Yeah, but I also feel like that trade was already in the works, or at least being discussed prior to the DeGrom injury. So they probably feel like they need to go find another starter somewhere, legitimate starter, somebody that can go out there and. What is legitimate anymore? Give you 5 innings? I don't know. And then, of course, the Mets and the Yankees make a trade.
Yeah, a couple
for
relievers.
Guys. Yeah, so I still think we're going to be okay, and maybe we'll be even better, the second half of the season, assuming that Jacob DeGrom comes back. But I don't necessarily know that we can assume that, given his recent history.
Yeah, and the trade that the Yankees and Mets made, if you missed that, was Joely Rodriguez, the lefty bullpen arm, going to the Mets for Miguel Castro. So Miguel Castro is actually the guy that Al Dukes said he reminds him of him for whatever reason last year. I don't know why exactly, because this guy reminds me of me.
It's a thinner guy.
Just because he was thin. Yeah. All right. The fact that he's a Major League Baseball pitcher.
That's the only attribute that you guys have in common is that you're both thin.
Right.
He was like,
and that's why he reminded you of you.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with the athleticism, the hair, because you don't have hair. I mean, he has a significant head of locks. And it's a big part of his look, you know what I'm saying? Like his whole look has nothing. It shows nothing.
CBS Sports Network is showing all sorts of still shots of Miguel Castro that look, nothing like Al. You would never in your life think that Al Dukes and this guy would be in any way confused.
All right, so today starts Masters. And
so we'll be off the air.
When
are we going to be off the air today?
Not till tomorrow.
No, today's a full ride.
Oh, today's a full ride. Okay, not till tomorrow. And by the way, it's only TV. We'll be on WFAN throughout, as always, and the Odyssey app, as always. But CBS Sports Network, Tuesday through Friday, will be leaving us either at 9 o'clock or 8:30.
So here's the update on Tiger Woods. He is given himself a game time decision as to whether or not he will enter the Masters and play. He'll be there today. He'll have a practice round today. He'll walk it again like he did last week. I do believe that he is trending towards being a part of the field.
I'll tell you right now, golf amongst my friends that are in their 30s and 40s has never been more popular.
Especially if he comes back for this particular tournament.
Well, whether he comes back or not, it's because of gambling. Gambling on golf is one of the hottest things right now in wagering, in sports, or what do they call that? Wagertainment or whatever. Because of the odds you get on these golfers, a lot of gamblers are drawn to it. More people are learning about it. Legalized gambling is everywhere and in New York now. More people are asking me who to bet on in the Masters, and I'm like, you're asking me?
I'm not a professional golfer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a professional golfer. That's what I tell him. You know what name I give him? Xander Schauffele. That's
Xander
what I give
Schauffele. You like that name?
Xander Schauffele. Yeah, I was like, take Xander Schauffele. He's the guy to take. We will put our support behind the golfer. The Boomer and Geo show will put our support behind the golfer before Thursday. We got to figure out one. Obviously, I'm going to lean on you and Jerry with this, and then I will hop on your picks, and then if he wins, I will take credit. That's the way I will roll with this particular thing. But I'm telling you, it is popular. It is extremely popular right now.
Well, I figure it's popular because it's the Masters, and we have all these young guys, and Tiger Woods is going to be, I believe, back in the mix come Thursday.
That's cute, but no, it's because people like to gamble.
But that's what it is.
It's all gambling. Masters pools now, everything else. I mean, it is. There's podcasts. People take this guy, take that guy. This guy's plus 800. This guy's plus 1,200. I mean, that's what it is. It's huge. I mean, and then you look at that Phoenix Open, and all the young people out there going nuts over the hole-in-ones and getting drunk. I mean, well,
they also try to do that at the TPC as well.
That's right.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, golf is. I don't know why. Look from. To me, it all centers around, gambling, but the Tiger Woods phenomenon.
Oh, sure. No. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, and he better not tease us. He better go out there and give us that poignant moment.
I believe we will see it. I believe we will see it.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.